Okay, here's the messed up thing going on in my life right now. I live alone. 1-bedroom apartment, 2nd floor, old but solid building. I lock my door with 2 deadbolts every time I leave and do the same when I go to sleep. I have no roommates, no girlfriend, not even a cat. Just me and my food in the fridge. Well, it should be my food. Yesterday, I opened the fridge to grab my usual dinner, half of a leftover burrito from El Taco Loco, but it wasn't there. Instead, sitting on the shelf was a container of pasta. And not just some boxed mac and cheese, but real pasta. Tagliatelle, pesto sauce, even freaking pine nuts on top. I froze for a second. Then I thought, maybe I was drunk? No, I hadn't been drinking. Maybe I ordered delivery and forgot? Checked my phone, no orders. Okay, I even sniffed the container. I know, dumb, but what if it smelled like forgetfulness? Fresh. Someone had made it recently. But who the hell? That's when a cold wave of dread washed over me. Locked apartment, no one else here, but someone's food in my fridge. I sat at the table, staring at the container, trying to process the sheer horror of what I had just stumbled into. And now the real question. Do I eat the pasta? So, I did what no sane person would do. I ate the pasta. I know. Every horror movie teaches us that this is the dumbest possible choice. But here's my defense. It smelled amazing, and I was starving. Plus, what if I was just losing my mind? In that case, what difference would it make if I ate it or not? So there I was, shoveling pasta into my mouth, and let me tell you, it was incredible. Perfectly salted, a little spicy, cooked to the ideal al dente. Whoever made it knew what they were doing. But then, something weird happened. I started feeling watched, like someone was standing right behind me, just waiting for me to notice them. A shiver ran down my spine. I whipped around. No one. Just my empty apartment and the flickering streetlight outside the window. I exhaled. You're just psyching yourself out, man, I told myself. And that's when I noticed something else. Something that made my stomach drop. The container. It wasn't disposable. It was a glass container with a dark blue plastic lid. I'd seen these at IKEA before. I didn't own anything like this. Never had. And then it hit me. Whoever left the food had planned to come back for the container. Jesus Christ. I jumped up, grabbed the container, and rushed to throw it in the trash. But right before I let go, I saw something. Tiny scratches on the lid. Letters. Someone's initials. J.W. Who the hell is J.W.? I stood there, holding this damn container with J.W. scratched into the lid, feeling a deep chill creep up my spine. Who was J.W.? I didn't know anyone with those initials. No one in this building had that name, and no one should have access to my apartment. But let's be real. I had already messed up. 1. I ate someone else's food. 2. I was about to throw away their reusable container, which they clearly valued. 3rd, and now that someone might come back for it. I walked to my front door and double-checked the locks. Everything was locked up tight, just like always. Okay, I thought. Maybe this is some glitch in the Matrix. Maybe I bought this food myself and just forgot. But then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. I always keep my trash bin under the sink. And now, it was sitting in the middle of the kitchen. I froze. I hadn't moved it. And that's when it hit me like a punch to the gut. I am not alone in this apartment. Then, a sound. Software barely audible. A quiet creak from somewhere deep inside the apartment. Like someone shifting. Okay, I have 2 options. 1. Call the cops. Tell them, hey guys, some delicious pasta appeared in my fridge and now I think there's someone in my apartment. Yeah, that sounds like total bullshit. They'd probably think I've lost my mind. 2. Grab something heavy and go check. I chose the second option, because first of all, I'm an idiot. And second, if someone is actually here, I want to know. I grabbed a pot from the kitchen, the only thing within reach, gripped it tightly, and slowly made my way toward the bedroom. The sound was faint, almost imperceptible, like someone had shifted something, or taken a cautious step. I froze in front of the bedroom door. "Are you here?" I asked, not even knowing who I was talking to. Silence. I took a deep breath and yanked the door open. No one. I flipped on the light. The bed was untouched. The window closed. Everything in its place. But then I saw it. A glass of water was sitting on my nightstand. I was absolutely sure I hadn't put it there. And what's worse, the water was ice cold, as if someone had poured it just minutes ago. I could feel my heart pounding so hard it roared in my ears. I was supposed to be alone in this apartment, or at least I thought I was. I stood frozen, just staring at that glass of water. Every instinct screamed, "Get the hell out!" But of course I didn't, because apparently my self-preservation skills have been broken since birth. I took a step forward and touched the glass. Yup, ice cold, which meant someone had been here just minutes ago. I searched the apartment, checked every door, every corner. Nothing. Under the bed? Nothing. In the closet? Empty. Behind the shower curtain? Christ, I almost had a heart attack from my own reflection. But then, something truly messed up happened. There was more food in the fridge. On the top shelf sat another container. Glass. Same dark blue lid. This time it was lasagna. My hands were so sweaty I could barely grip the fridge handle. I carefully picked up the container and looked at the lid. Same initials. J.W. I nearly dropped it in shock. This bastard wasn't just here. He was taking care of me. And then I noticed something else. Under the container, on the glass shelf, lay a note. An old, worn-out piece of paper covered in neat handwriting. I unfolded it. There were only 3 words. "Please don't be afraid." Okay. No, seriously. How the hell am I supposed to not be afraid? I stood in the middle of my kitchen, holding a container of lasagna in one hand and this damn note in the other, feeling the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. Someone was sneaking into my apartment. Someone was cooking for me. Someone was leaving me notes, and I had no idea where they were. Okay, let's think logically. 1. If this J.W. wanted to hurt me, he would have done it already. 2. Judging by the food, he clearly doesn't want me to starve. 3. And most importantly, he must have some way of getting into my apartment. And that was what scared me the most. I tore the place apart, checking locks, windows, vents. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. What the hell? Do I live in an apartment or a portal to another dimension? I sat at the table, placed the container in front of me, and just stared at it. What do I do? 1. Throw the lasagna away? But damn, it smells really good. 2. Try leaving a note in response? Like, "Hey J.W., who the hell are you?" 3. Call the cops? Again, "Officer, delicious food keeps appearing in my fridge," sounds like a one-way ticket to a psych ward. I was already reaching for a pen and paper when I noticed something else. The note. It looked old, worn, like it hadn't been written yesterday, or last week, but a very, very long time ago. I yanked my hand back. Oh God. What if J.W. isn't just sneaking into my apartment? What if he's been here for a long time? I needed to get my thoughts together. I put the lasagna back in the fridge, even though it smelled like it had been made by freaking Mario Batali himself, and picked up the note. Please don't be afraid. The longer I looked at it, the less I liked what I saw. Yellowed, worn out, like it was 10 years old. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I know that note wasn't there before. I grabbed my phone and Googled JW plus my address. Thought maybe I'd find an old property record or some news about the building. Nothing. But then I had a better idea. There's a storage basement in this building where tenants keep their junk. I'd never been down there before, but what if there was something connected to JW? And so, a few minutes later, I was standing in front of the basement door. Dark, dusty, smelling of old wood and damp air. I turned on my phone flashlight and started checking the storage doors. Each had an apartment number. But here's the weird thing. One door had no number at all. Just an old, peeling wooden door with a rusty lock. No way the neighbors were using this, right? I grabbed the handle and gave it a pull. Locked. But someone had definitely been using it. There were fresh footprints in the dust on the floor. I stood there, listening to the silence, when suddenly, the lock clicked. The door began to slowly open. The door creaked open in front of me. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like the whole basement could hear it. I shined my phone's flashlight inside. A dark, tiny room. Bare brick walls. In the corner, an old mattress leaned against the wall. Next to it, a wooden crate. A blanket was draped over the mattress. Clean. Not covered in dust at all. I took a step forward, barely breathing. Silence. I knelt down and slowly opened the crate. Books, notebooks, tattered, yellowed, pages torn in places. I picked one up and flipped it open. And immediately I felt ice in my chest. On the first page, in neat, careful handwriting, it said, J.W.'s Diary. I turned the page. They forgot about me. My heart stopped. I flipped another page. I'm still here. My fingers started trembling. Next entry. He found my food. I froze. Frantically, I flipped through the diary, skimming the entries until I reached the most recent one. Dated yesterday. It's time for me to leave. He found me. I whipped my head around. Silence. No one. I backed toward the door, still clutching the diary in my hands. That's when I noticed the empty shelves on the wall. Something had been there before. Clothes, personal items, food. But now, everything was gone. And that's when it hit me. J.W. wasn't a ghost. He was a real person. Someone had been secretly living in this basement for years, and now that I had discovered him, he vanished. I turned on my heel, bolted out of the basement, slammed the door shut, and locked it behind me. Back in my apartment, my legs felt like jelly. I checked the fridge. The lasagna container was gone. J.W. had taken it with him. I never heard from him again. But sometimes, late at night when I walk up to my fridge, I swear I hear it close just a second before I get there.